Reacher star Alan Ritchson takes subtle dig at certain Invincible Hollywood action stars. We're just a couple of days away from the long-awaited premiere of Reacher Season 3 on Prime Video, and while past seasons have seen star Alan Ritchson easily kick some serious butt, this year he's seemingly met his match by way of Olivier Richters. The hulking 7-foot 2-inch tall, 350-pound bodybuilder is a newcomer to the Richters, portraying Polly, a bodyguard to Anthony Michael Hall's Zachary Beck. For Ritchson, however, he's glad that Reacher finally has a formidable opponent in Season 3, because according to him, it makes the character even more relatable to the audience. Speaking with Games Radar ahead of the Season 3 premiere on February 20th, Ritchson called it fun to share the screen with his new foe, despite the latter being nearly a foot taller and outweighing him by 100 pounds. Though he didn't name names, he said that unlike some actors in Hollywood who want to come across as invincible in everything they do, "We're looking at you, Tom Cruise," he has no problem showing a more vulnerable side to the character, especially in the strength department. "We live in an age where there are a lot of actors out there. I'm not gonna name names, but there are people who just kind of have to be invincible in their roles. And what kind of fun is that for audiences? If Reacher is too superhuman or indestructible, it's not gonna be that fun to watch. So it's really fun to pair him with somebody that makes you question whether or not he's gonna live. Of course, we all know he's going to live. He is Reacher after all. But Ritchson sees his face-off with Polly as a metaphor for life, which in turn makes our titular hero more relatable to the audience. While most of us aren't 6'2", we do know what it's like to struggle on a day-to-day basis and come through those obstacles despite them feeling insurmountable at times. "Life is hard for a lot of us," he added, "and we want to see that there's a character on screen who's getting beaten and rolled by life, but at the end of the day, somehow finds a way to prevail." Olivier Richters is no stranger to being the largest man in the room. Nicknamed the Dutch Giant, Richters is no stranger to being the largest man in the frame, as Reacher isn't the only project he's done that has portrayed him as a force of nature. Just last year, he took on the role of Crom in the box office flop Borderlands, and the year before that he was seen in Indiana Jones and The Dial of Destiny as one of Waller's, Mads Mikkelsen henchman, Hawk. The effort they put into Reacher vs. Polly is astonishing. Richters told Empire about his role in the upcoming season, which is arguably his most high-profile to date. "We might be a little bit immortal in the fight because it continues for so long. The trailer above shows fans how it starts, and you can see how it ends when Reacher Season 3 premieres on Prime Video on February 20th with its first 3 episodes, and the remaining 5 airing weekly thereafter." Alan Ritchson, the star of Prime Video's hit series Reacher, has become an unexpected champion for a new breed of action heroes, ones that emphasize realism over excess. Recently, he made headlines for a subtle but pointed comment that seemed to take a jab at a certain type of Hollywood action star, those who rely more on digital enhancements, body doubles, and carefully curated marketing than genuine physicality and skill. Ritchson, whose towering presence and real-life training make him a natural fit for the role of Jack Reacher, has gained a reputation for his commitment to authenticity. Unlike many of Hollywood's top-billed action heroes, who often lean on CGI trickery and carefully edited fight sequences, Ritchson takes a more old-school approach. His remarks come at a time when audiences are becoming more discerning, craving realism in an era dominated by increasingly artificial blockbusters. Though Ritchson never named names, speculation quickly ignited. Was he referring to longtime Hollywood powerhouses like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or Vin Diesel? Perhaps even Tom Cruise, whose Mission Impossible franchise thrives on heavily choreographed stunts. While Cruise is famous for performing his own stunts, his films still employ significant post-production wizardry. Johnson and Diesel, on the other hand, have been accused of using contract clauses to control how much damage their characters take on screen, a stark contrast to the gritty, visceral fights showcased in Reacher. "I think audiences are starting to appreciate a more grounded style of action," Ritchson commented in a recent interview. "They want to see real fights, real hits, real training. Not just actors who look the part but can't actually deliver when it counts." His words resonated deeply with action fans who have grown frustrated with the increasing reliance on CGI in modern action films. Many took to social media to express their agreement, praising Reacher for its raw, intense fight scenes that rely more on practical effects and well-rehearsed choreography than post-production magic. It's worth noting that Ritchson's rise to prominence has been anything but conventional. Unlike many of his peers, who often step into leading action roles after extensive Hollywood grooming, Ritchson built his career steadily, appearing in various TV shows, including Smallville and Titans, before landing the coveted role of Jack Reacher. His background in fitness and martial arts lent an added layer of credibility to his performance, making him a more believable action star than some of his contemporaries. In contrast, many of Hollywood's biggest action names today rose to fame through sheer presence rather than actual combat proficiency. Take, for example, the likes of Jason Momoa or Chris Hemsworth, both incredibly charismatic actors with imposing physiques, but neither known for extensive martial arts backgrounds. While their performances are bolstered by clever cinematography and expert stunt coordination, they lack the unpolished, hard-hitting realism that Ritchson seems to be championing. The backlash against overly stylized action movies isn't new. Over the past decade, audiences have expressed growing fatigue with action films that feel weightless due to excessive CGI. The Fast and Furious franchise, for example, has evolved from street racing thrillers into borderline superhero films, with physics-defying stunts that push believability to its limits. Meanwhile, franchises like John Wick have gained immense popularity precisely because they showcase a more practical, stunt-driven approach to action, one that Ritchson's Reacher series appears to be following. It's also possible that Ritchson's comments were aimed at a broader Hollywood trend rather than specific individuals. The rise of superhero films, for instance, has contributed to a landscape where actors are often cast based on aesthetics rather than combat ability. Marvel and DC blockbusters, while visually spectacular, rely heavily on CGI-enhanced action sequences, leaving little room for the raw, visceral fights that audiences once associated with classic action stars like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, or Jean-Claude Van Damme. Ritchson's dig at Hollywood's more invincible action stars might also reflect a deeper frustration with an industry that often rewards spectacle over substance. While actors like Keanu Reeves and Scott Adkins have gained a cult following for their commitment to real-world fighting techniques, they remain exceptions rather than the rule. Meanwhile, actors who are less physically capable often find themselves at the top of the industry, benefiting from the illusion of skill rather than genuine ability. This raises an interesting question. Is Hollywood overdue for a shift? If audiences continue to gravitate toward more realistic action storytelling, we might see a resurgence of physically trained actors taking center stage. Ritchson, with his imposing presence and willingness to engage in real combat training, could very well be at the forefront of this movement. It's not just about the fights themselves, either. The way action stars carry themselves, both on and off screen, plays a crucial role in how audiences perceive them. The best action heroes of past decades, from Sylvester Stallone to Arnold Schwarzenegger, had a certain grittiness and believability to their performances, something that many modern stars seem to lack. In a world where digital effects can make anyone look like a fighter, authenticity is becoming a rare commodity. Ultimately, Ritchson's comments might,